example of a collaboration with business and industry and education. And so today we have Heather Rhodes, Dean of Business and Technology at San Jacinto College North, and Greg Mitchell, who's the Select Tech Program Manager. And so without further ado, I will turn it over to you, both of you all for the presentation.
All right, so thank you all for giving us this time this morning. Can everybody see the screen? I'm usually working on Teams and not Zoom, so this will be my first screen share for Zoom. So let's see here. All right, perfect. So like we said earlier, I'm Greg Mitchell, Senior Technician Programs Manager here at Aggreko, and I manage the Select Tech program and Select Tech Plus. Heather's also going to help present today, and I'll let her introduce herself here in a second. But from the Aggreko side, Carol, I just want to thank you for everything that y'all have done for us here at Aggreko. I know with COVID and everything happening, we've kind of been out of touch a little bit, but definitely want to start building back the relationships with the city of Pearland and the chamber and all those and start getting back involved. I know we got to do one little project with one of the elementary schools here in the past with Select Tech, and I want to continue to keep doing those. So I'm asking everyone on this call, as y'all think of other things that we can do to start helping as we get back into the groove of things, please let me know what we can do at Aggreko or the Select Techs that we can do to help the community. All right. I think we lost Heather.
Nope, I'm here. Okay, sorry, I didn't hear you. So I'm Heather Rhodes. I'm the Dean of Business and Technology at San Jacinto College's North Campus. So I am basically Kevin Morris, but on the North Campus, to put that in a frame of reference. And also, Dr. Okwana is our new provost on North Campus. So we get to work a lot now with the Select Tech program. And that's really me in a nutshell. So Greg is, I don't really get much billing on this. This is really Greg's deal to drive. I'm just going to interject here and there and let you know how the education side of this works.
All right, thanks, Heather. So first thing to help y'all kind of understand what Select Tech is, I'm sure, does everybody know what Aggreko is? We've been in the community for, I know, since the 90s. I started here in 2016. And I actually, with my old position, was here for the Learning Center opening whenever I worked for Mark Conrad in the area as well. And that was back in 2007. So my history with Aggreko has kind of been a little here and there, especially with the school district. I came from Pasadena ISD, and they've always been a good partner for us there as well. So Select Tech program, we have now officially moved it here. We've had one full year of classes running through. In the past, it was up in Oklahoma. We moved it down here to Houston, Texas. With my past with Pasadena ISD, I knew that San Jacinto College provided the quality education that we needed. So as soon as I got into this position and was asked to look at the Select Tech program and how we could make changes, I knew exactly who I needed to call. And so here we are, started in 2017. We started the talks. The first class started in 18. We've graduated the first class, and that was class 10. 10's graduated. We've graduated class 11 as well, and we have 12 and 13 in place, and we're actually currently recruiting for 14. So it geared up real fast, and Heather and her team, I can't say enough about them. They've been there for us. They've helped us grow. As soon as we needed something with curriculum, any kind of adjustments that we needed to fit what we needed to learn, they were there to help us. It's an incredible group of people up there at St. Jack and with us in the North Campus, and couldn't ask for a better team to work with. So thank you, Heather, and all of y'all up there. So Select Tech now is a one-year program where we recruit across the country. We bring technicians into the Pearland area, and we do a hybrid model where we split time between San Jacinto College and Aggreko specific learning. So half the week they're actually going to San Jacinto College, the other half they're coming to us, and I'll show all that here in a second. It is a one-year college accredited program, 42 credit hours, 3 semesters. So it's a very fast-paced learning process that we do recruit people with little to no experience and get them up to speed in a Tech 1. And I have some data that I'll show in a second that'll speak to the rigor and the quality of education that they get at San Jac, and that's what helps us get the numbers that we're showing already in this new program. So again, it is nationwide recruiting. We recruit around the country. We bring them into the Pearland area. We rent apartments for those that are out of city. We've got quite a few of them around here in the area, house them for the year, and then we send them back out into the business where they need to go. We do provide a $1,000 scholarship for each student each semester, as long as they're staying up with their grades. Technician tool set is provided to the students, the housing subsidies we just talked about, and then the health benefits, they are available to the apprentices, the interns is what we call them, while they're here as well. So they are offered a good wage and health benefits while they're in the program. So here we have what we're looking at is the pay that we do pay the students. We start off at $15 a semester, or for the first semester, 16, and moving into the second and third. The reason I have 20 hours paid minimum is because half the week they're actually in school. So the other half is when they're going to be doing the work. But we also utilize them for OJT, for other, if we have overflow work in the nights, the weekends, times that they're on spring break, any other kind of breaks from the schooling, they get, they're working the full time as well here in the area, or things like support for hurricanes. We've helped out in the past. Right now we're not, because we're already behind in the learning aspect of it. So I don't need them dispersed right now. So we need to focus on the learning. Again, they're here to learn the work they're going to get, but I need to make sure that we're getting them the content. So that's why they're not helping with the hurricanes right now, but they really are asking for them though. But so again, like I said, they split time. Half the week they're at San Jacinto College, the other half the time they're here in Pearland with us at the Learning Center, out working in our service centers here. And on the screen, you'll see the how they mix and match. So right now we currently have class 12 and 13. Class 12 will graduate in December. Class 13 will actually graduate next August, but we start class 14 in January. So we're constantly turning over technicians, bringing them in and sending them out. So that's how the overlay is right now for us. With COVID, it definitely has put a little wrinkle in all that, where we've had to do a lot of virtual training, but never got rid of the hands-on, because they're kinesthetic learners. You can't take the hands-on out of it. So we've been able to still manage to bring in small groups. I know San Jac did a fantastic job of helping us keep up the learning, keep moving to the best of their ability that they could with the regulations that were put in place. We tried the same thing, 2 or 3 of them here and there, just to keep up with the social distancing, but still keep that learning process going. So very big thank you to San Jac to help us keep pushing. What you see here is going to be the courses and what they take at San Jacinto College and how they line up with what we actually teach here at Aggreko as well. So I sit in the Learning Center for Aggreko, and we actually bring in, we offered over 106 classes back in 2019, and we average about 12 technicians in each one of those classes. So those come in from all around North America, come here, spend a week learning, and then go back out to where they came from. So we work real well with great hotels in the area that have helped us. The restaurants help us. They've made life easy for us to be able to bring in groups and send them back out. And over and over and over again, as we constantly do this each day of every week. Can't speak enough to Chick-fil-A's in the area, Jason's Delis. They've been awesome to help us get, they're on the spot. You have to add a couple of heads of food, they're there for you. So great partnerships with them. So again, what you see on the screen is how our classes line up with San Jacinto College, and Heather and her team has been amazing with helping us make sure that we're still meeting the needs of the students and our needs for what we need our students to learn. I'll let Heather kind of talk about a little bit of how the certificate came about and all that kind of stuff. Heather?
Okay. So I guess the first thing I want to say is it's really a testament to Greg and his team in the fact that they have really laid out the learning outcomes that they need for the students. So when they approached us about doing this particular program, it was really easy to map those outcomes, what they needed as a company, to what we could offer on the credit side from an education perspective. And then each year, so we've had our second group that's graduated, we go back and we reevaluate what those outcomes look like, anything that's changing in the industry, and what we may need to change, whether it's a course or whether we may need to add some additional outcomes to a particular course in order to meet their needs. So a little bit, not to get into too much about me, but I have an HR background. That's what I did in a previous life, we'll call it. And sometimes you see where there may be a job description, but for a particular job, there's not truly listed out what those outcomes and job duties are truly going to be from a tactical perspective in the trade area. And I worked in trade areas in the past. So the fact that Greg and his team have outlined all of this makes it really easy to map and adapt as we need to. With it being the 42 credit hours, this is a stackable certificate. So for us, what that means is when the students complete, they get their certificate, and then all they're missing are their general education courses. So that would be your things like your math, your English, your social science, those types of things in order to complete their Associate of Applied Science.
Perfect. Thanks, Heather.
So this is my one slide for the presentation. So at SanJac, it really made sense for us. One, we're innovative. We're one of the top 10 community colleges of excellence in the country. Industry partnerships are an integral part of how we serve our community. It's really what we do, and it's certainly what we do in business and tech and our health science areas. Those are most often going to be our Associate of Applied Science or certificate programs, where these students are coming to us for a short amount of time and they need to be industry ready when they walk out the door. This is a picture of the building that I'm housed in, our Center of Industrial Technology on the North Campus, which is off of Uvalde, across the street from the rest of the campus. If you're ever out in this neck of the woods, come by and see us. We opened it was before I was over here, it was March, I believe, of 2016. And it houses our trade programs that we offer on the North Campus. So pipe fitting, welding, HVAC, electrical, and diesel. And so for us, it was really the perfect marriage. There are 3 programs that Aggreko needs to utilize in order to train their Select Tech students, and that's our diesel, the electrical, and the HVAC. They need to know a little bit of each, well, more diesel, but then a little bit of the HVAC and the electrical programs. And the great thing with not only the instructors, but the department chairs that we work with here is we have the agility to update, enhance, and modify the program. And working with Greg and the Select Tech program with Aggreko has been amazing, because when it comes to, we have an open line of communication, but if Greg calls and says, we need to have a generator out on your site so that the students can have a hands-on application of knowledge for whichever course that they're taking, it's super easy. We figure out what it looks like on our end, and Greg and them are great enough to bring one over and supply it for the students to be able to work. If we didn't have 2 groups, the education side and the corporate side, coming together and being able to have these types of conversations and understanding that we have shared outcomes and sometimes problems that we have to solve, this wouldn't work if we couldn't really have that communication process. So that's a little bit about CIT and what we offer here, and why Select Tech is up on North Campus.
Awesome. Thanks, Heather. Yeah, I mean, she's, like I said, I can't say enough about the ship that we have with them. It's made my life very easy. So just kind of looking at what we're looking for through 2023 and how the program is going to be here, and we don't plan on it going anywhere. I will say Aggreko has been, from the beginning of the whole COVID issue, their number one concern was their employees. And at a global level, they made a promise that their number one priority was to keep all employees during this entire time. So we've done some major cuts to hold, but nobody has been let go due to COVID. So I got to say a thank you out loud to Aggreko for that, because it's really given everyone some hope throughout this entire time. But if you look at the screen, what we have there are classes all the way through class 17, which would start in August of 2022, graduate in 2023. The only minimum change that we did to what we're planning is right now during COVID is due to that, where the max for the classes will be the normal minimum. So max normally is 25. Coming from an education background, I'm not a big fan of that. I don't like having 25 students in a hands-on classroom. It's hard for an instructor. So we like to keep that little balance anywhere between there. I shoot for 20 max-ish, but don't tell Aggreko that, because they like more. They're happy with the product they're getting from SanJac. So like, we need more, we need more, we need more. So, but I understand it from a classroom side. That's a rough one, putting 25 in there. So like I said, all the way through class 17 is what we're already planning on. This actually was built out during COVID, so it's a very positive sign for us. Speaks a lot for the partnership with San Jacinto College. Aggreko wants us to keep growing and growing, and it's really been that positive. So what we're looking at here is a test that we give our technicians off the street when we're hiring a normal technician. And that star is the average score that they get on this assessment coming in, right? So select techs, we take someone with little to no experience, get them up to speed in a year, and then get them out into the business. So the dots that you see on the screen are from this last class that graduated, and how high above average off the street they were only after 1 year of going through this program. So the rigor in the classrooms at SanJac have definitely given us this advantage here to help get a solid education, solid foundation for us then at Aggreko to teach them how to apply it to our specific equipment. So the data that's coming out of this program already is amazing. So again, very high skilled. One of the things that I always do have to say though, and it's a good thing to have to bring up, is if you see those that are scoring in that Tech 2 and higher level, they're still only a Tech 1 because they lack the actual experience, okay? So they may have that knowledge and tested well, but we're still holding them at a Tech 1 level because they need to have years of experience to be able to get to the Tech 2, okay? So it's just a positive that we're seeing them that high. And actually for the power test and the diesel, and Chris Uvik is our diesel guy, our instructor at SanJac, I actually had to add a line to that graph to show, because they're scoring over a Tech 2 that we hire off the street. We hardly ever hire a Tech 3 off the street unless it's a boomerang employee that worked here in the past and came back. And so to show that we're having select techs test up in that range is awesome on that power side. So big shout out to Chris Uvik and what he's been able to accomplish with these students. Great instructor, very flexible with us, works with us. And we're on the same company, we work together, open communication back and forth, couldn't ask for a better guy. More data. I like data, so I'm going to show you all this. This just shows where the growth is coming from. So if you see on the one, the orange test was when they first got in the program, and then the blue line is how they ended at the end. So seeing those gaps and 16-point change is the difference between a Tech 1 and a Tech 2 knowledge-based level. So the growth that they're getting is awesome. It's amazing. So that's on the power side. Then we look at the TC, which is one of the harder ones that we find. People with HVAC experience are a little bit harder to find than our diesel people, but the program, you have to know all three: diesel, HVAC, and oil-free compressors are 3 lines. So, but looking at how we do, 54% is what normal Tech 1 off the street scores. And then you see that the select techs are scoring above average. So great news on the TC side. Huge, again, it's SanJac that's helping us with that, with their HVAC labs, their instructors. It's great. we're definitely tuning in on that to see how we can help that grow as well on the TC side. And then again, just showing the growth that they see. And if you notice, that last class came in with a lot lower on the HVAC experience, but left very, very high, better, better than what we're asking for. Because what we're looking for is for anyone to fall between those two orange lines is what I promised our business they would be. So that is what we consider the range of a low to mid-level Tech 1. And then you see there's multiples that are finishing well above that. So very positive on that side. And so then the real quick transition to Select Tech Plus is a program that we just started here. Had our first go at it in March. COVID hit, and then hiring freezes stopped for full-time or the normal technicians off the street. Select Tech didn't stop. So Select Tech Plus is a 3-month program that we've designed where we take people that we normally would have passed on due to the lack of work experience, but they had the knowledge, and we bring them in, get them Aggrekofied in 3 months, and then send them out to the business. So they're hired to locations, say Benicia, Miami, Long Island. They're hired there, get sent here to Pearland for 3 months. We house them in corporate apartments that we have in the area, keep them here for 3 months, get them Aggrekofied, and do all of our basic classes, and then send them back out into the business. And the original plan was to have a cohort each quarter. Well, COVID hit us right in the middle of that first one. So we got the first one done, but the plan is to pick right back up in 2021. So very positive numbers that came out of that. It helps us, the small group instructions. We won't have a cohort of those bigger than 10. I've locked it at that. So as we're hiring, across the country, they know there's 10 spots. And if they have someone they want in it, they got to claim that spot first. And then once we hit 10, there's no more room until the next group starts. So that's all I got on the Select Tech program and us. Heather, you have anything else?
The only thing I'd like to say, I guess, in closing is this partnership would not be the success that it is if Aggreko was not as committed to education as they are. And I don't know if everybody heard what Greg said when he said that they need to focus on learning, even though we've had some weather events like the hurricane that hit Louisiana. We've got a weather event going on in Alabama right now, and they need people out there, but he's telling them no because they need to focus on education. Because Greg truly understands that the end product is going to be so much better than if they pull these kids away, or adults, they pull these folks away to go and work temporarily on a job site. They will miss part of their education, or they'll have to stop and relearn things. So that commitment and the communication that we have, and certainly he's right, Chris Ubik is a rock star for an instructor, is really what makes this a really wonderful partnership. We're really fortunate.
So this is Ann. I have a couple of questions for you, probably geared more towards Greg as far as like the program goes. So my understanding then is all these students that come in, these techs that come in the program, they are all continue to be hired by Aggreko, correct? And you're putting them in the business?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So they're actually hired by us before they even start. So they're all Aggreko employees when they start the program, and then they go out into the business as a full-time Tech 1.
And do all of them, is your percentage, you have 100% that go through the program completely and stayed on with Aggreko, or do you have some drops in there?
We do have a couple drops. The moving it to Houston, shorten it down to a year, and then focusing only on technical courses versus in the past they had the general ed classes too. We found that a lot of these technicians are sticking through it because they're able to focus on technical only. Now with SanJac and the options that they do have, we do tuition reimbursement once they're in the business. They can then come back to SanJac and take all their general eds to get that associate's degree, which is only 18 hours lacking once they're done with us.
Okay, so that's good to hear. That was my next question is, do you support them continuing on to get the associates for the basic part? So, and you do. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
that's
So
great.
a lot of the technicians we found, there's some that just only want the technical side of it. Then there's quite a few that do want to continue with that educational side and continue to grow. And so the next steps, even though we're pretty early, is to help start looking at other universities that are outside after the associates. What can we do to transition to the bachelor degrees and things as we continue to develop and grow our technicians?
Yeah, so interesting that my son graduated from Pearland High School in 2013, and he had applied for the program. And I think that was, of course, he got accepted at Oklahoma State. He didn't get into the Aggreko program, which, the good Lord opens a door wherever. But he did go on to get his mechanical engineering degree. But I mean, he was really, excited about the program. He was telling me about how good it is, and so he went a different path. But it's a great program, and that's what I was wondering, because I didn't think it was a one-year program at that point. So when y'all brought it to Texas, you condensed it to the 1 year?
Yes, because what I found when I evaluated the program when I got here in 16 was it was a 2-year deal, and up in Oklahoma they had an 88 credit hour requirement for an associate's degree, and I'm going no, I know that's a lot different in Texas, and they were going up there and learning, but then they would send them out to the business for a semester, and they were never guaranteed to be applying what they just learned. So I knew with my background as a teacher, we took the application is instantaneous. They learn it on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They apply it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So that way we know what they're learning, they're actually applying. And so that's why I was able to condense it down to the year, and with the help of the Texas requirements for a technical certificate versus the associate's degree up there, which was 88 hours, it definitely helped us condense that down.
Very good. Very impressed with what you've done with it to bring it back here and do it through 1 year. That's great in the partnership. So good job.
Greg, so this not the students, but the employees that you hire that you put up through this program, are they strictly in the operations department? Are there any possibilities of moving into administration of the organization? And second question is, like, how many employees do y'all have now, and how many locations in the world do you have?
So that's a tough one. I got to add my numbers up. So I'll start with the first question. So we train them to be technicians while they're here. We do get them as much exposure as we can to sales and logistics so they can understand how those do work together. Our expectation is for them to work as a technician at least through a Tech 2 level. And then once they're out in the business after a couple of years, I start tapping into them saying, okay, where can we now look to develop you, and what direction can you go? Do we look at putting them into logistics, into operations management, or into sales? So, because I'm a big believer in having that technical expertise with that sales experience, you can do some pretty good damage for us. So yes, that is definitely something that we look at as once they're Tech 1, Tech 2, then we start looking at how we can develop them further. As far as employees, I know I just did a thing, with Select Tech, we had 155 graduates since this started in their first class graduated in 2010. And we have 24 that are currently enrolled. And then overall at Aggreko, we have roughly 1,500 employees in North America. Now, globally is a different thing. So I'm NAM Rental Solutions. We have 3 other areas of Aggreko. There's Power Solutions and Group Functions, and they are all over the globe. So that's still a whole nother level I'm hoping to get to, because the plan is we're showing progress here. And I actually spoke on it yesterday to the Globe team about actually starting to get Select Tech moved around the globe in Australia, Europe, things like that, where we can not necessarily mirror the program, but definitely build something of a Select Tech to help their needs, because definitely educational requirements are different. I mean, we see it from Texas to Oklahoma. It's different from here to the UK. So.
All right, any other questions? Anybody else have questions? I saw Lisa here posted in the chat if she could have contact information.
Definitely so. Carol, do you want to send that out, or I can I guess, I don't, how do y'all want to get that out? I'm trying to find a business card. I mean, y'all can, if y'all have questions or anything, y'all can email me at gregory.mitchell@aggreko.com. Guess we'll hold it up. Y'all see that? Or is it backwards? It's backwards
No,
on my
it's right.
screen.
Lisa, you got that, Lisa?
All right.
And I sent her my contact information in the chat. I just sent it privately though. But if anybody needs to contact me or has any questions, it's heather.rhodes@sjcd.edu. Like Morris's and Dr. O.
Yeah. When I clicked to share my screen, my whole chat feature disappeared. Y'all were just a little strip a minute ago.
Oh, yeah.
Where'd everyone go?
Let's see, any other questions? Do we have any other questions from the group?
You know, I'd like to say that, you know, from the minute Aggreko came here back in the early 2000s, they were really handy on the spot working with the high schools to provide them equipment for their technical departments, for their HVAC departments. And that was probably before you were born. But, you know, but Aggreko has just been a great partner for, you know, for the community here. So thank you very much for your assistance and your supporting us.
So one last question. So how do you promote this? Are you working with all the high schools in this general area, or you work with high schools throughout the U.S., or how do you promote this program?
So we did have a plan to start recruiting. A lot of it so far is the new program's been off of referrals. So students that have been through it and helped us. So we do want to start getting back into the high schools, and that was the whole plan for this year. And then COVID hit. So that really knocked us back. And again, a lot of it has just been word of mouth referrals from former students, employees, and helping push it again around the country as well. So definitely 2021, as things start loosening back up, we do want to start getting back out into the schools to see how we can help. And that's what I meant by earlier, is also we want to get back into the community involvement. I know it kind of shifted a little bit from what it used to be at Aggreko, but definitely want to start looking back in that way.
Giggle.
Oh,